Greetings, everyone. Welcome to CRWS. Today is February 24th, 2024. We're going to be decoding last year's film, Barbie. And yeah, this film was, I think it was a $1 billion um, worldwide gross. It made $1 billion, I believe. And this film is um, focuses on this topic is focusing on area three, entertainment. And looking at my notes here, my main takeaway from this film was um, brain rotting and waste of time, which is basically what the system of racism, white supremacy is all about. Getting people, especially non-white people, to consume things that are super non-constructive, super waste of time, and just things that brain trash oneself, one's mind. Just thinking about what is this film even about? I don't even think the plot is even that important. I don't. It's really even hard to tell a person what this movie is about. It's about yeah, it's just very nonsensical. The plot and things that happen in the movie, and unfortunately, due to me being a victim of racism white supremacy, I did laugh um quite a bit at this piece of racist propaganda known as the Barbie film, and it just reminded me of the code book and this part from page 125 on from the United Independent Compensatory Code System concept by Neely Fuller Jr. Everyone should have their copy or get their copy from producejustice.com. From the text, page 125, it says, question, during the existence of white supremacy and according to compensatory counter-racist logic, what is worthy of laughter? And the answer is absolutely nothing. Explanation. According to compensatory counter-racist logic, nothing that happens during the existence of white supremacy can be correctly thought of as funny, comical, or worthy of laughter or hilarity. The continuing tragedy is too great. When you hear or see a non-white person laughing during the existence of white supremacy racism, the one thing that you can be certain of is that absolutely nothing is funny. And then that is very correct. Nothing is funny about what is occurring here on planet Earth. And when we think about this Barbie concept, how this toy doll, this piece of plastic, and this piece of passive significance on the system, and how for decades and decades this concept Barbie has conditioned and brain trashed non-white people worldwide to want to essentially be a white person, um, to want to be like Barbie with straight hair and acquire white features, and it's very we saw that when the film came out. We saw people, dressing people being very serious about this very silly film. People dressed up, put on their Barbie outfits, invested a lot of time and energy, and went out and to participate in this Barbie ritual, to watch this film dressed like Barbie. Um, I think it's just an example of how we've been trained to just worship um, white people, just to worship them and want to be like them. This film has a bunch of um, just silly things occurring. I think Greta Gerwig is a very refined, powerful, and intelligent white supremacist. She knows what white and non-white people want to see. She knows what soothes non-white people. So this is why we see Issa Rae as a black female president who still is not it proves to be not powerful or not in control of anything. Because when Ken um, began to practice racism white supremacy in a way that he calls patriarchy, we see that she falls uh, victim to his power, and she's eventually serving his system in that way. This film reminds me of another part from the code book about um, what are these films made for? Like, what are these films um, attempting to do to one's mind, or like why are they being produced? And this is from page 121 of the code book. When talking about entertainment, ask and answer the following question: does the entertainment directly or indirectly cause people to think about replacing white supremacy racism with justice, balance between people? If the answer is no, it is incorrect to speak or act to support or promote that particular form of entertainment. During the existence of white supremacy, always expect most so called entertainment for non white people to be basically pitiful, primitive, stupid, and or silly. Expect much of this entertainment to glorify the killing, maiming of non white males and or the trashing and general mistreatment of non white females. During the existence of white supremacy and according to compensatory counter-racist logic, it is correct to expect white supremacists, racist men, and racist women collectively to promote forms of entertainment among non-white people that are deliberately designed to produce non-constructive results. And this film, I kept seeing, observing this the black male characters and just how just the roles that they played in this film, and they're mostly like servants, subservient to Ken's character, and they also looked very feminine, very anti-sex like. And I have I don't know this character's name. I'm sure he was named, but this character right here, how he just serves as uh, a little anti-sex feminine like servant to Ken. And I'm pretty sure this was and it wasn't just this character, it was also this one right here. How the outfits, how feminine they look is all very you know s- suspect and incorrect. The black male can't why can't the black male dress um in a non homoerotic way? Um, oh, that's because we're in a system of white supremacy, and black males and black females must be presented in a way that is incorrect, that causes confusion, that makes them to look, you know, anti-sex, homoerotic. I have more notes, but I'm going to pause there to see if folks want to start sharing their notes before continue.
Can I be heard? I like this movie. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I felt like this movie was like disarming of the white female for non-white females to feel like there's some sort of safe person that non-white females can trust, because it's like the idea of the movie is that males are your enemies and your oppressors, but like inherently females when like inherently females are good, caring, and will produce a better society just them being female, which I felt like was the overarching like theme of this movie. Even the cover says something like Barbie, like she's everything, and he's just Ken. And I think that's really interesting. And I thought, like you were saying, very strategic to make Issa Rae like the president. This idea that like Black females can have power if they align with white females. Um, that was some of the main points that I got from it, like from the first watch.
I guess I can go next. I did not enjoy this film at all. First of all, it was not really to actually like laugh at all throughout this whole flick. It was a pretty boring flick to watch through and through. I thought like early on in the film, it was pretty much what I would say just the opening scene is showing a old version of a doll, and pretty much now you're being introduced to Barbie as the I guess white standard, which is the Barbie doll. Um, what were some of the notes? Um, I got like two movie references from watching this: Groundhog Day, and when they showed the architect of the Barbie doll, felt like a Matrix scene. Of course, the hair. Um, going into the two black males, one was named Basketball Ken, the other one was named Artist Ken, and the one that looked well the actual darker black male um he's been in well matter of fact he actually plays a role where he is a gay male on a, TV program. um Pedophilia from the head of Meta, which was played by Will Ferrell, saying that he was into girls. uh like there was a matter of fact there were two scenes where uh before the Kens took over, it was a girls' night, so gave off lesbianism. And then when the Kens took over, it was boys' night, uh, homophobia. Um, of course, with the homoerotic humor, the whole beach off, which like meant beat off. Um, but I'll stop right there. It was a whole lot. That's why I had took a bunch of notes. Oh, and also the horses gave off a phallic symbol. I mean,
Yeah, I wrote that down too. The beach off, and it's like a very like obvious homoerotic sexual innuendo. Like I'll beat you off, or I'll beat you off. Or, it's just like it's just so overt, and this is like part of that like masterful
white boy
um
humor.
masterful practicing of white supremacy, how they've like mastered ways to implant in one's mind these thoughts, these just these homoerotic um phrases. And I'm sure a lot of like younger people went and saw this movie, and then their brains are computing beach off, and who knows what's this kind of imagery and sounds entering one's mind, entering younger people's mind. Who knows what this does? It could lead to curiosity around incorrect activities such as anti-sex, homosexuality, and whatnot. Very very incorrect. And in this system, we're taught and trained that's funny. That two males practicing sexuality, practicing sex with one another. We're taught that that's humorous, that's correct, when according to compensatory counter-racist logic, that is not not correct. I also got from this film it shows the imbalance between just people in general. When Ken and Barbie go into the real world, it's pretty tacky, trashy, and terroristic, but also shows the imbalance between the white man and the white woman. It shows that imbalance, but how they will come together to maintain the system of white supremacy. We see that the Kens and the Barbies are not in harmony because white men and white women have proven that there's only harmony between the two when they are maintaining and refining the system of white supremacy. When that is not the goal, we see tons and tons and tons of articles of how all these subgroups also being created, about the gender wars and whatnot. That's a reflection of how um, white men hate white women and white women hate white men unless they're attempting to maintain the system. And this is why tons of cases of like white man kills his partner, white woman kills her partner, and this just goes on and on. It happens so much. There's no balance between any people, especially white men and white women. All of that incorrectness, all the things we hear about non-white people having problems with one another, with the opposite sex, that all stems from us learning from the masters of the universe, or that's what they call themselves, white men and white women, the people who control what happens on planet Earth, the people with the most power, white people. All of our incorrect relationships with one another is a reflection of the imbalance between the white man and the white woman. And also, this film, you can't have a movie promoting white supremacy racism without getting the people watching the film, white and non-white people, to focus on white genitalia. There's a number. I think at the end of the movie, she goes to the kind of gynecologist, and when Ken goes to L.A., she's like he doesn't have any genitals, and he's like, I do have genitals. It's just what Dr. Prescott Wilson said about that being the focus of white people, other phalluses and genitalia, because they've come to understand the planet as most of these people, actually we're a global minority. you know we are the smallest group of people on planet Earth, and the more non-white people that reproduce with one another, the more we become outnumbered. So they're constantly thinking about phalluses. That's why there's so many dick jokes on planet Earth, or so many phallic jokes, and why most of our movies you will see those jokes. Even in kid films, we will see those kind of jokes. Um, I remember the presidents being mentioned: George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Jackson. I'm sure all of these white supremacists are responsible for like eradicating a number of Native Americans and brutalizing black slaves during their existences. So fascinating that this movie that's supposed to be like for everyone is glorifying these white supremacists, but we're in this white supremacy. These people are on our money for for a reason. Um, the the um the ugly Barbie, they called her, but they didn't call her the ugly Barbie, but she's like referred to as basically the ugly Barbie, the weird Barbie. I don't know if it was her.
Weird, weird.
Yeah, the weird Barbie. That's what I said. The weird Barbie. I don't know if it was her, but she said something like weird, dark, and crazy. Someone said weird, dark, and crazy, and it's always that word. It's a movie full of white people, um, but dark is still used as a negative, as something incorrect. That's most movies. That's very cliche, and just hate mentioning so much, but it happens so often that we hear the word dark being used as a negative, and we should really replace that term with like pale, or just call it incorrect. But there's nothing dark about um, white insanity. It's just white insanity. This is white incorrectness. We should really n- learn to, when we hear that word dark, ask questions. What's dark about pale, blonde, blue-eyed person. Just call them pale. Don't start associating dark with incorrect things. Um, yeah, the movie with you mentioned it, the Mattel owner, CEO or whatever, Will Ferrell's character was just a totally insane character. Most of everything, everyone in the film is insane. Everyone in the film is just totally insane, and that's you know planet Earth 2024. Most people are, all people actually are quite insane. You have to be insane to function in this system where non-white people worldwide are just being totally obliterated and confused and focused on doing a bunch of wacky, incorrect things. And we're supposed to just go about our day like it's normal. One must be insane to subject ourselves to this reality. So yeah, the film is very uh, reflective of how we are all insane going about our days like this is like just normal, like it's normal for the things that are happening on planet Earth to be happening. The huge imbalance between people, how the the areas in the world that have the most resources seem to be the most um, famished, and the people on those large amounts of resources are just doing so poorly, and all the resources are coming to areas where mostly white people exist. It's just obviously incorrect, but we're trained and conditioned just to see it as normal, or to not think about it, or a combination of both. Um, yeah, I'll pause there, see if other folks have anything to share from their notes.
I just see this as a bored white woman needs some adventure and some emotional stimulation. That's what I got from the movie. I'm bored with all these people, even though they do what I want them to do. Now I need some more people to do what I want them to do. That's what I took away from the movie.
Hello.
You heard.
Well, first of all, I would like to advocate for all the naturally male members of this discussion to take whatever you need to take to what is it, to stimulate more testosterone in your system, because you've been dosed, according to what I found with, like, just looking a little bit on Quora and this other thing, how they were using a certain pink in the jails. And I put a quote up from there. So, definitely psychological warfare through extreme colorization. Being a visual person that uses visual and creates visual aids um, professionally, I knew, I was like, all this daggone pink is not good. It's not good. It's not good even for a female to look at, because I remember being in school and they would warn us against having certain colors or just one color as your background, because it'll jade your eyes, which may be a racist term because jade is not white. I don't know. And it's mostly from, I don't know. I'm going off the deep end a little bit. It'll prejudice your eyes, where you actually have more of an inclination to see that tone or that hue even when it's not there. Um, so just a lot of pink, psychological warfare. I do believe I saw a double helix at one point in time on one of the dream houses, which indicated that they were, to me, emphasizing that the ideal DNA comes from a blonde male and female, which we see because the protagonists and antagonists are both blonde, white, and blue eyed apex predators. Uh, so I wanted to say real quick, it may sound bad. I think my parents were just trying to entertain me, considering I was the only child. Um, so I played with a variety of things, but I did like Barbie. I consider myself blessed because they did get me a doll, a couple dolls like this. I'm gonna put in the chat that were non-white black female dolls. I knew there was a specific doll for black girls. It was a Christie doll. I would play with that doll. I would play with the other dolls that came out. But after a while, there were certain dolls that you couldn't get in a certain style unless it was Barbie. And I also had like not a dream house setup, but I had like a dream kitchen. I had a trailer, like when you go camping somewhere. Ironically, the movie is in the desert. So my god brother came over one night and like literally like trashed and thrashed my Barbies and the setups I had, like he was like he was the giant, or in what is that, Gulliver's Travels, and they were the Lilliputians or something. And I'm bringing that up to say, out of all the problems they could have dramatized in the movie, like there could have been something dramatic where, oh God, our world's coming apart. Like, let's get help from maybe construction Barbie. Oh, that's not enough. Maybe we need help from astronaut Barbie. Or they could have been creative, is what I'm trying to get at. And I will say, as a person, being less confused about the system, but admitting that growing up, I wanted a real action, or what they call it, live action movie, like from 6 to about, I'd say even 15 years old. I was like, they're making all these movies. Like, why don't they make a Barbie movie? Like, all you need is actors, right? But everything is planned, and they knew they were going to put this movie out the way they put it out for the reasons they put it out, and made the damn focus ultra feminism, and then made every single female, no matter what that female was doing in the movie, they were practically inane. Even the real people were. I'm sorry, something wrong with you and your brain not working too well if you want to come up with depression Barbie. You're a little cuckoo. That's, it's not constructive, but on top of that, it's like you literally waste your own time sitting how to make a doll be depressed. You should be it's beds and meds for you. So on one hand, you're being jolted by this hyper pink scene and this hyper pink feminism, and then on the other hand, you being dosed a little bit with the extreme opposite, this very demure looking non-white female who's disconnected from her offspring. And it, after a while, I felt like my eyes was bleeding. I had to look away. It was just too much. And then the dialogue, it was like the writing was bad. And I see what happens when writers go on strike. Because if the good writers couldn't be gotten for this movie, it's obvious. It was terrible. I want to say, I keep bringing up that Nicolas Cage movie that we watched when it was just me and you, '05. But I'm bringing it up because it's so funny to me. I would watch that I mean, that movie was putrid at times. I would watch that again without hesitation before I watch this Barbie movie again. It was that bad. I just, yeah, I'm gonna mute my line.
Round of applause.
Oh yeah, the mom. I'm trying to find a picture of her. Does anyone remember her name? Who was drawing the
Oh,
depression?
I got it. Hold on. Um, yeah, well, I know her name is America Ferrera, I believe.
I
And
was,
just and just like typing Barbie. That's it.
yeah, yeah, that was an excellent freaking observation, Irie. Because first of all, I think both of the people on the screen may be white, um, white classified as white, probably have white on their driver's license and birth certificate. But yeah, this is what it just shows. What the system does to people minds. We could have like you may be in a older body, a body that's 30, mid 20s, early 40s. You may be in an older body, but the system, especially if you're a non-white person, the system wants you and treats you and classifies you as a child forever. So if this is a non-white person, it makes perfect sense why she's still thinking about toys and dolls and drawing dolls and all that stuff. It's because she's a victim of white supremacy. She's a child. All non-white people are victims of racism, which is non-white people worldwide are children. And what do children do? Children are concerned with play, silly things, and not often is a child trying to solve the race problem, discuss the race problem. No, they want to play with dolls or whatnot. This is what the system has trained us how to has trained us to rear our children. Don't tell them about the system. Don't teach them constructive activities like an instrument or engineering or how to have fun doing math. Nope, go play with some dolls. Dress, go get dressed, cute. We're gonna go see the Barbie film. And another thing I noticed was all the dancing and singing in this film, and luckily there's very little non-white people in this movie. And the ones that are in this movie are what the code says. They're presented to be very pitiful, primitive, and confused. But so much dancing and singing, and none of the dancing seemed to be, um, you know, being done to produce justice, to guarantee no one is allowed to be mistreated, and the people who need help the most receive constructive help. None of the dancing seemed to be about that. It just was just another, not another, but more wasting of time and one's energy. Dancing, a lot of people have been trained to just dance and sing. Do it for your entertainment, other people's entertainment. Just it's something that is always okay in the system. You want to dance or sing, get to it. As long as you're not dancing or singing about eliminating racism, white supremacy, replacing it with a system of justice. As long as you're not dancing or singing about that, have at it. So that I just I've noticed that very much annoyed by just the promotion of silly, useless dancing and singing. Um, I think that yeah, pointless film. Yeah, what Ira you said, awful film. I am a retarded victim, so I definitely have my laughs, but I'm perhaps I just just showcasing my absolute insanity that I found some portions of this film funny. But the code says, absolutely nothing is funny in this system. But I am a insane victim of racism and white supremacy.
May I say something
Oh,
really
please.
quick?
Hmm.
So the obviously lesbian Barbie, she was standing there with Issa Rae, who's president, and she uh at the end they're kind of reconciling, and she asked the president, this non-white person, for sanitation. She specifically said that she needed sanitation where she lives. And I won't lie, I was insulted. I was mad. I was like, yeah, I'm glad this movie's about to be done. Because immediately I thought about, I believe it's called Louds County, Alabama, where there are black people who have to put PVC pipes up to their houses and use those PVC pipes to drain into cesspools because the county will not allow them to hook up to the water system, the waste system in that county in Alabama. And it's all punishment from their activity during the so called civil rights movement. And I don't know one white person that lives without sanitation, without it being at their own will. And I'm saying that as a person that has seen white people choose to live without sanitation, and then these people gonna act it that made me want to react a certain way. I really didn't care for that. And the word for this homosexual Barbie isn't, like you said, it isn't dark, it's jagged. Look at her form, look at how they design her clothes. What's dark about hot pink? I'm gonna end my term there.
Excellent context. This picture right here caught my eye, or this thumbnail, just a anti-sex black male in yellow and a cowarding black male cowering with Ken. This is very pathetic imagery, and this film was made $1 billion. I don't know how many non-white people sat through this film, but I think it was a sure. I'm sure it was a lot. But does anyone have any more notes to share about?
I got a lot more.
Oh, then have at it, please.
Okay. All right. So the main character, throughout the flick, she cried 3 times total. The whole conflation around the certain Barbies that were either fat, black, or disabled. Um, of course, the feminine black males throughout the whole Barbie land. Um, I did have stuff like about the color pink and the color blue. I'll probably read that later. Um, of course, the Allen character, he was the male feminist. Um, yeah, oh 05 brought up patriarchy, aka racism. I had wrote that down. Uh, oh, the scene when Ken and Barbie go to L.A. and they both get arrested twice, and they're both are like automatically released. System of white supremacy racism. White people are never the victims. Um, on my fault. They're never the criminals. Um, the white woman mentioned death. Like pretty much, I thought she just meant death of the white woman figure. Uh, of course, in the beginning of the flick, Barbie can be anything, meaning white women can be anything. Anything else? Oh, just to like clear it up. When where Barbie referenced Weird, Dark, and Crazy, she was mentioning a non-white Barbie, which was I forgot which Barbie it was, but it was like toward the end when they was trying to get back the Barbie land. Um, Gloria's monologue at the end felt as though I was listening about listening about Black people's pride. That was probably the only thing that I thought was like notable this flick that was like, oh, that sounds constructive, but sounds like she's speaking about Black people. Um, uh, anything else? Oh yeah, of course the music, lots of white identification. Um, yeah, the fake world, which was the Barbie world, women ruled. which was white women, and then in the real world, the white men were when they went to LA. Um, oh, and also the white Ken early on in the actual flick seemed as though he needed validation from the sophisticated Barbie character. Um, yeah, and I think that's about it. I think I'll meet there.
Does anybody remember ever seeing an overweight Barbie in the stores?
Never. Or a trans
Never even
Barbie.
heard of it.
Because this film had a fat Barbie, overweight Barbie, obese Barbie, and it had a trans Barbie. I kept asking, um, Ash.
Also,
Wait one second,
also,
one second. I kept asking Ash. Well, I think the trans one is this one right here. I think this is supposed to be a trans Barbie, right here.
yep.
And yeah, so the, just them just lying. I know the fat people are now being celebrated, which is which is an incorrect thing. You know, which should no nothing should be celebrated in system of white supremacy. Correct health should be promoted, and um, most doctors would say that being obese is not practicing correct health. So yeah, that is just a lie. And yeah, the whole anti-sex situation known as trans whatnot is a huge just insult to the creator of the universe for being born a certain way and thinking that I wasn't supposed to be. The creator made a mistake. I'm gonna go ahead and fix the creator's mistake by attempting to change my biology. Go ahead, Tevin.
Yeah. Also, there was a pregnant Barbie, which I had no clue about. I was like, really? Barbie was out here selling pregnant Barbie? uh, oh, and also, words. Anytime they had used love and pretty, it was in an anti-sex way. Also, if you just check out the car scene of them going to Barberland, which was the mother Gloria and the daughter Sasha, um, uh, based on the actual real life people played by playing Gloria and Sasha, America is Honduran. Both her parents are from Honduras, and then the daughter she is she is so called, I guess, mixed race. Even though I wouldn't even use that term. It said that her mother was Puerto Rican and her dad was white, but I haven't seen a picture of her parent, so I'm I'm not sure. But also, America is married to a white guy, which was the white guy in the actual film who was in that house, you know, staying away staying away from the sun. And I'll mute there. I'm gonna find stuff that deals with the terms pink, blue. I'll mute there.
Yeah, you mentioned Barbie cried 3 times. We're trained in the system, um, brainwashed into thinking to when we see a white person cry, oh, it's a real tragic and it's emotional. It's something we're supposed to empathize with. White person crying, white tears, especially white woman tears, are so deceptive and powerful. So yeah, I'm just crocodile tears. White people created that saying for a reason. It's mostly reflective of their behavior and them how they weaponize tears. Cause really, the Barbie like her she went her adventure her journey was just to not she didn't want to become like weird Barbie. She didn't want to have flat feet. She didn't want to think about death. So she went to solve. They tend to solve that problem. You know, it's just not something serious. It's not something that a person should cry about. You know, cry about the reality of the system of white supremacy if you're gonna cry about anything. But I just saw it as a way that white women, white people, the system has taught us to view white tears as something serious. Nothing serious about her not wanting flat feet or the stakes in this film at all. No, there's no high stakes, you know, but she's crying nonetheless. Any more comments, notes from anyone?
I think too, to add on to the points you all were making about the different type of Barbies now, it felt like the movie was saying it was just like advertisement, like, hey, we're discontinuing or we're gonna de-emphasize this white blonde Barbie, and but we're gonna have these new, like you guys were saying, the trans Barbie, the overweight Barbie, the I think there was a Barbie in a wheelchair or that had some sort of disability. It seemed like one big ad for their new toy line, and then and nothing. The interesting thing about the movie that felt even more like such a incredible waste of time is nothing changes in the whole movie except for I guess Barbie going to the real world. Like nothing else changes or happens. I think the Kens ask for some power in their government in their Barbie world and they just say like no and laugh it off. It's just so it's just such like I don't know white female propaganda. Like I think Monsoon was saying when their America Ferrera was talking about all the ways that they suffer as women, and I was thinking to myself like some of these problems like it didn't feel like I'm like I don't think that a lot of these females that are acting in this movie, the female that directed this movie, are really going through these so-called problems. And if they are, it's mostly just about having that conflict amongst amongst white males in terms of who's going to have more power within the system. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ash. Yeah, that speech that the character gave towards the end, Gloria, the Gloria character. Yeah, those her concerns. It was just like you know, very like repeated like so-called feminist um talking points, and all those problems that she mentioned is more reflective of non-white people worldwide than white women. So I definitely noticed that. Yeah, I don't think Margot Robbie or Greta, whoever directed this movie, Greta Greenwig or whatever her name is, I don't think she's encountering any problems that are severe. I don't think she's ever had to fight over water or potatoes like non-white people, like some non-white people have to in the system of white supremacy. I think Ken said something. He said, "Men rule the world," or something that was said some point during the film. That's incorrect. White men and white women rule the world. 2024 and have been doing so for quite a while. Um, any more notes? Anyone would like to share?
Somebody want to go? Go ahead, Manson.
Yeah, yeah. The scene when Barbie is taken to Mattel, she is being taken by bunch of white guys in black suits. So I typed in Men in Black. Um, of course, Gloria, she is the Barbie savior of this flick. She's also a single mom, and I forgot what I wrote down. Oh, I also said she was in the treasure arrangement. Okay. The only thing I missed when I was putting down notes, it was when Barbie was listening to that song, and they were spelling out the term pink. P, I forgot what that meant, but I meant intelligent, N meant never sad, and then the K meant cool. I forgot what the P word meant. Possibly perfect. I'm again, I'm over here guessing with that letter, but um, I guess the last thing is all right with the term pink and its whole color meaning. Says here that the color, it says pink is kind and comforting, full of sympathy and compassion. It makes us feel accepted. It's friendly, playful, uh, spirit calms and nurtures us, bringing joy and warmth into our lives. Pink is also a feminine and intuitive color that is bursting with pure romance. Uh, it says that pink symbolizes playfulness, compassion. Those are two terms. Its effects means that it nurtures, calms, positive effects from the term pink, kindness, warmth, and its negative, which was kind of pointed out in the actual film, was that immature, unconfident, and emotional. I felt as though the so-called sophisticated Barbie kind of set off some of these traits. So that's all I wanted to point out there. I mean,
I just want to. There was a link to a book I read like over 10 years ago, and I found a good quote on page 21, or a good excerpt is quick. Um, the book is about basically growing kids up too fast and making adults childish. So he says, there's a quote from somebody, McNeil. I don't know who McNeil is. I can't find it, but the quote is: children are a future market that can be cultivated now so that when children reach market age, they can more easily be converted into customers. And then moving on, it says, um, what is this? Valerie Steele, director of the museum at the Fashion Institute of Technology, says at the same time that you're seeing grown ups in overalls, you're seeing 8-year-old girls essentially wearing push up bras. Then there's this burgeoning, quote, retro market that pushes nostalgia, apparel, films, and other commodities, both to aging adults who want to recapture their youth and to young people and teens who are adopting the styles of earlier generation as a really cool way to be young. Retro, in effect, allows being young to grow old and still stay young. And that's what this movie was for. That was the ultimate purpose, you know, with the masquerading as ultra feminism, but grown women are wearing pink right now. You know what I'm saying? Ad nauseum. There were so many Barbie tutorials of makeup on Instagram. that it was just, I'm like, I guess the world is just gonna run out of pink pigment after a while. You're just gonna be stuck. If you want to paint your child's room pink, it's gonna be gone because it's gonna be on somebody's eyes. It's getting sold up. And um they had to insert that presentism. That's what I've heard it called, presentism, those themes, like I'm woman, hear me roar stuff, to make it more valid to a certain age of millennials that probably didn't grow up with Barbie, but grew up with those topics, patriarchy, as you said, and feminism and independence and non-white people in the lead at certain times. But it's infantilization basically. And just one question. I'm not trying to be funny, but it's funny to me. If Mermaid Barbie is in fact half mermaid, is her being in a swimming pool not animal cruelty? Because isn't it capturing something that should be in the wild, and isn't the pool chlorinated? I'm just, I know I'm being funny, but it's just little things like that. It's like, wait a minute, I don't know if you should be in that pool right now. I'm sorry.
I wrote down hypocrisy in my notes, and you bring it out that logic to discussion. Um, yeah, that's very very interesting. But what you said about like what's what this film was promoting. Reminding me what I said about the people who are going to like people who went out and got dressed up. Made this film like an event. They went through like the ritual of look at the screen. You can see all these older people um, going out to see this movie to recapture their childhood because they had a Barbie a long time ago. They have fond memories of this piece of plastic, this very significant piece of plastic in the system of racism, white supremacy. Just president. And it's just yeah, just entertainment area three is a very very powerful area of people activity. What this movie compelled people to use their time and energy to do things. It didn't compel them to go out and replace white supremacy racism with justice. It didn't compel them to go out, solve problems, attempt to help people. You know, attempt to remove mistreatment from the universe. Nope. It compelled them to go out, get outfits to be so called cute. Very, very pitiful, very, very tragic, but that's just the power of racism and white supremacy. Racist men and racist women, they have this down to a science, and it's non-white people's duty to understand what is occurring, and to understand what we are looking at, not some just innocent film that is not harming anyone. It's definitely damaging the minds of millions and millions of people, promoting and spreading massive, massive confusion. Are there any more notes folks would like to share?
Yes, sir. Can I be heard?
You heard, you heard.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, Excellent notes from all y'all that I've heard. I'm going to, as y'all kind of taking up my notes, I'm going to stick with what I noticed firsthand. The usage of pink. Um, I'm an artist as well. I like to read, and study about the psychology of colors. That's very important when you're creating a piece of artwork. And then especially when you want to market it and sell it. But the psychology of colors and the usage of pink. Um, Monsoon, you stated, the different characteristics of the color pink. I had notes on that as well. Um, but then I just got curious. I'm like, what are the negative effects of the color pink? And I just wanted to share an article from 2018 that surprisingly, once again, use of the word dark, but we're talking about white people here. The surprisingly dark history of the color pink. Um, Pink has been wielded as a tool of control for decades, writes Professor Julie Irish. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I saw this part here that was very interesting. And it talks about, and it reminded me of Barbie because Barbie came out right around World War II. I found it ironic that they were running ads with Barbie and Oppenheimer. Um, so we're going to talk about the World War II decade of the pink. Pink was associated with the girly color, and blue was for the boys. Administrations would switch back to Nazi Germany, just as the Nazis forced Jewish people to wear a yellow badge to identify themselves. They forced gay men to wear a pink badge. Ever since then, pink has been thought of as a non-masculine color reserved for girls. Once pink started to embody femininity, some wondered if it could be used to tame aggressive male behavior. Beginning in the 1980s, a handful of prison wardens painted holding cells in prisons and jails pink. The hope was that the color would have a calming effect on the male prisoners. The wardens were inspired by the results of a series of studies conducted by research scientist Alexander Schwash. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Schaus. Schaus had concocted a pink paint color that he claimed could reduce the physical strength and aggressive tendencies in male inmates. In a study, Strauss had subjects stare at a large square of pink paper with their arms outstretched. Then he tried to force their arms back down. He demonstrated that he could easily do this as the color had weakened them. When he repeated the same experiment with the square blue paper, their normal strength had returned. Strauss named the color Baker Miller Pink after two of his co-experimenters, naval officers Gene Baker and Ron Miller. Baker and Miller were so impressed by Strauss' findings that they went ahead and painted the holding cell of their naval bases the shades of pink. They raved about the results and how it inmates. Pacified inmates were in a system, a prison system of racism and white supremacy, and they've seen that pink can pacify the inmates. As word got around about the benefits of pink decor, psychiatric units and other holding areas were painted Baker Miller pink. Custodians reported quieter inmates and less physical and verbal abuse. Um, Here it says, then we have 30 years later, another psychologist, Oliver Glenshaw, repeated it. They carried out a rigorous experiment. Detention center, like Strasbourg, they found no evidence that it reduced aggressiveness. Um, so there could be a relationship to the color pink to um, take down the aggressiveness of males. In short, I found this movie as very pedo-predatory to children, to non-white children in particular. Um, I noticed they spoke specifically about not having genitalia at three different times in the film at various key points. I think that reflects how they are allowing children to mutilate themselves with their genitals with all this trans nonsense that's going on. Um, Stereotypical Barbie represents all women. I think that should be all white women. The intro scene reminded me of this movie had a lot of different tropes in some other films. Racist tropes, obviously. The intro scene reminded me of Space Odyssey, where the apes are breaking the bones. They're breaking up their Barbies, to show this new iconic figure that's coming, and it's obviously, the blonde Barbie. She's breaking the mold for all women. She has problems in the movie. I agree. I don't think that these problems in the movie are related to white women since they are in power right now. I saw a lot of this film was basically the things that I hear white people complain about on apps like Twitter and social media. They want to somehow conflate white supremacy, a system of domination, of non-white people all across the planet to somebody talking about I'm overweight, or they even had a handicap Barbie I saw in a wheelchair. Um, just the different things that they complain about, they whine about, instead of just producing justice so that they wouldn't have anything to complain about. Um, I saw it as an allegory of what is known as the Great Replacement, the statistical data of the low birth rates for white people worldwide, the different ailments that Barbie had. I took that for like the massive social anxiety, all the medications that they need, the different birth defects, the super high rates of Parkinson's disease in the brain, all the different things that really affect them. They turn them into jokes in this film. I find that they do that a lot through deflection in these movies, project and deflect at the same time. Um, It reminded me of the scene in Forrest Gump where they have Barbie has now solved civil rights. There was a scene of that was said. I almost threw it from my mouth. Um, yeah, I think this film is just basically predation on non-white children um, through anti-sex, effeminization of males, um, constant programming of black people, non-white people being in subservient roles to white people. There usually have some kind of conflict that the magical Negro or Negro S has to solve. Um, I thought that Issa Rae's character was symbolic for Kamala Harris for some reason. I could be mistaken. Um, I think I'll end there. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you to all the other participants and sharing your notes. Is there anything else folks would like to relay from their notes?
I had one more note. So earlier, I guess we were supposed to review the song that ended the movie because I was like, ugh, the fact that this movie sucks is going to end playing that Nicki Minaj record. So, so luckily, the song was only like a minute and 50 seconds. Um, so that was already bearable. Um, I wrote down. I said, basically, the summary of the song is, "I'm a doll, and we're it girls, not women. Girls is also in my fault. The term girl is in the word God. So that was my last note. Now I did have notes around the term blue. Uh, should I speak on that profile?
Oh yeah. If you feel like it would be of
Okay.
constructive value, of course.
Okay. All right. So being that pink and blue was used throughout. Pink and blue. That's an Outcast record. Um. Yeah, being that these two colors were used throughout the whole film, blue that was representing men, white men. So right here it says blue. The color blue represents open spaces, freedom, intuition, imagination, inspiration, and sensitivity. Lots and lots of sensitivity throughout the flick from the males. Blue also represents meanings of depth, trust, loyalty, uh, sincerity, wisdom, confidence, stability, faith, and intelligence. So both pink and blue are intelligent. I'll mute there.
Thank you, Tevin, for reminding me of the credits on Nicki Minaj, and that's just like her calling herself a Barbie, a doll. Just reminds me of just like the total confusion and brain trashing we have been taught since birth as non-white people. Because Nicki Minaj is not a Barbie. She's not a white woman. Although she has attempted to make herself close appear to be white with the makeup that lightens her skin, with the straightening and using of synthetic hair that makes her hair look like white women, all that, all that stuff. But just because we call ourselves these things does not make it true. It girls, just to decode that non-white males and non-white females are only allowed to be boys or girls in the system of white supremacy racism. Please, for further understanding of that reality, please read the ISIS papers by Dr. Patrick S. Wilson or the United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept by Neely Fuller Jr. and get the Word Guide by Neely Fuller Jr. Just the whole reality of how we just live, exist, in a state where we're just lying to ourselves and believing on this ridiculousness from all areas of people activity, you know, economics, entertainment, education, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Just everything we believe mostly um, a lie. It reminds me of Dr. Bobby Wright quote where he says, "The greatest pathology in the world, the greatest sickness in the world, is for a people to believe in something just because they wish it to be true." And that's where most of us are. And a very tragic state existence to be in, but that is where most of us are, non-white people especially. We believe the things we've been told to believe by people who dominate and have enslaved us since they have encountered us, white people, racist men and racist women, white people who believe in and choose to dedicate themselves to a system of incorrectness, a system of white supremacy racism. So let's face reality and solve this problem so we will never have to subject ourselves to watching a Barbie sequel or just end the mistreatment. Would anyone else like to share their notes or closing comments?
It's my last comment. Just people should try to make notes and observe the long game strategy of the people in charge. Because when Nicki Minaj came out, I want to say that's been at least like 10 or 12 years. And she had the Barbie chain. She also had a different chain, a chicken wing for some reason, but um, she would wear the Barbie chain, and her fans are called Barbs. So this has been supplanted. They've been working on this for a while.
I am reminded of how the so-called celebrities and their fandoms, their fanatics. That's what fan means to me, a fanatic. She has the barbs. I remember now, and Beyonce has the Bay Hive. It's all nonsensical. Produced justice. I did laugh when you said she had a chicken wing chain. Um, any more closing comments? Notes to share?
I made reference to Outcast, Pink and Blue. Uh, just read the. Well, I would say listen to the song, but the lyrics especially. Pretty Pink, Baby Blue. Uh, mm. Oh, he also references the Pretty Pink person as sophisticated. So it just made me think of that record. I'm like, oh wow, sophisticated. And pretty much Barbie is this superficial, whatever character. So I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Alrighty, thank everyone for their astute notes and for sharing. Um, Yeah, you're not gonna come on, you're not gonna be able to find any analysis like this on the Barbie film. So please like, comment, share this content if you feel like it was of constructive value. Purchase the United Independent Compensatory Code System concept from producejustice.com. No more singing and dancing. No more lying to ourselves.